The training deck of the GSV Meridian hummed with the low vibration of gravity generators as Commander Vexthul circled the group of mixed-species cadets. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights, mandibles clicking in what passed for amusement among his kind. The Zephyrian officer stood nearly 8 feet tall, his 4 arms folded in a display of casual superiority. "Combat readiness," he announced, his translator rendering the alien syllables into crisp standard, "is not about technique. It is about willingness to inflict and endure pain." Cadet Marcus Rivera stood among the assembled recruits, his human frame dwarfed by the towering Zephyrians and scaled Draknari around him. At 22, he was one of the youngest in the Galactic Defense Corps training program, and definitely the most scrutinized. Earth had only recently joined the Galactic Confederation, and human capabilities remained largely theoretical in military circles. "You mammals," Vexthul continued, his compound eyes focusing on Marcus, "believe violence can be minimized through rules and honor codes. This is weakness." He gestured to a Draknari cadet named Kethmore. "Demonstrate your species' combat stance." Kethmore complied, dropping into a low crouch that showcased his natural predatory design. Vexthul nodded approvingly, then without warning, struck the cadet across the face with one of his primary arms. The sound echoed through the training bay like a gunshot. Kethmore staggered but remained upright, blood trickling from his scaled snout. His eyes blazed with anger, but he held position. "Good," Vexthul said. "Pain accepted. Discipline maintained. This is why Draknari make excellent shock troops." He turned his attention to Marcus. "Now the human will demonstrate his species' combat readiness." Marcus felt every eye in the room upon him. He'd read the files on Zephyrian training methods. Brutal by human standards, but apparently effective. Their military had conquered 17 systems before joining the Confederation. He assumed the position he'd been taught, feet shoulder-width apart, hands raised defensively. "Pathetic," Vexthul declared. Before Marcus could react, the alien's secondary arm whipped out in a backhanded strike that caught him across the jaw. The force sent him stumbling sideways, bright spots dancing across his vision. But Marcus had grown up in Detroit, in neighborhoods where showing weakness got you killed. His father had been a Marine, his grandfather a boxer. Pain was just information. He straightened up, tasting copper, and resumed his stance. "Adequate," Vexthul said, though his tone suggested otherwise. "However, humans are reportedly emotional creatures. Let me test this theory." He struck again, harder this time, sending Marcus to one knee. The other cadets watched in uncomfortable silence. This was beyond standard training protocol, even by Zephyrian standards. Marcus rose again, slower now, one eye beginning to swell shut. But something had shifted in his posture. His stance was looser, more balanced. More dangerous. "Fascinating," Vexthul mused. "The human endures but does not learn. One more lesson should." Marcus moved. 22 years of Earth gravity had given him muscle density the aliens couldn't match. Years of street fights had taught him that when someone bigger wanted to hurt you, you didn't play by their rules. His right hand came up in a tight uppercut, catching Vexthul's massive head just beneath the mandibles. The sound was like a sledgehammer hitting concrete. Vexthul's 8-foot frame crumpled, his exoskeleton cracking as he hit the deck with a thunderous crash. Green ichor leaked from the fractures around his mouthparts. The great warrior lay motionless, his compound eyes dim. Marcus stood over the fallen commander, his own blood still dripping from split lips. He looked around at the stunned faces of his fellow cadets, then at the unconscious Zephyrian. "Combat readiness," he said quietly, echoing the commander's words, "isn't about enduring pain. It's about knowing when to stop taking it." The medical team arrived within minutes, but Commander Vexthul wouldn't regain consciousness for 6 hours. When he did, Marcus noticed, the alien's attitude toward human cadets had changed considerably. Some lessons, it seemed, worked both ways.